Shh. Okay, I don't think there's anyone around. Hold on. Hi. Sorry, I was just doing a little spy work. You know, spies, they sneak around and find out secret information. Well, did you know that there were 2 different spies in the Bible? There's actually more than 2, but the 2 we're going to talk about today were going into a city to see what was inside the city and who was inside the city, because Joshua and the children of Israel were going to take over the city and destroy it. So he sent 2 spies to go see what it was like out there, okay? So the spies go into the city and they're looking around, right? And they go to an inn for the night, which is basically like a hotel, but it is usually somebody's house back in Bible times. So they go to stay at this house of this lady, and her name was Rahab. Rahab really wasn't that great of a lady. She was just she didn't do good things, and she wasn't very nice, and all around town they just knew that she wasn't a great lady. So anyway, the spies, which are children of Israel, right? So they are Christians, they're God's people, the 2 spies go to spy out the city of Jericho. And so they're staying at Rahab's house for the night, and all of a sudden men from the city come and bang on the door. And they said that they saw 2 strangers going into Rahab's house. Rahab answered the door because it was her house. So they wanted to know what these 2 guys were up to, right? Well, before Rahab answered the door, she knew who it was. So she hid the 2 spies, and then she went back down and she told the king's men that she had not seen anybody at all to keep the spies safe. So after all of this happens, the spies are like, why did you protect us? Why did you do that? You don't have anything to lose. And she said, I know your God, and we have heard the stories, and we know that he is great, and he is destroying other nations and other lands. And I know that he's a great God, and I want to protect you, but I want something in return. So the spies and Rahab made a deal that if Rahab would hang a scarlet cord from her window, that she and her family would be saved when the children of Israel came to destroy Jericho. And the cool thing is, she let the spies out down the same scarlet cord. And then after they got to the bottom, they said, if you leave this cord here, then we will save your family. That's all Rahab asked. She said, I won't tell the king any of this. I won't tell him who you are or anything if you will save my family. So they go back to their camp. Well, actually, they had to go hide in the mountains for a while because the king's men were still looking for them. So they crawled out the window by the scarlet cord, and she left it there so they would know which house was hers. And they also told her when they left, make sure your whole family is in your house, because if they're outside when we're destroying the city, we can't make sure that they're safe. So make sure they're in your house, and we'll know by the scarlet cord, which was probably kind of like a scarf or something, or a piece of cloth. We'll know that we'll tell the children of Israel not to destroy this house and anybody inside of it. So whoever's in this house will be safe. So they go and they hide in the mountains, and then they go back to Joshua and they tell him all about it, okay? And so when everything happens at Jericho, which you'll learn about in the next Sunday school video, they saved Rahab's family, and they brought her back into the camp with them, and they lived the rest of their lives as Israelites, which back then was a big deal, because if you weren't born an Israelite, you didn't get to be an Israelite, right? So they kept her whole family safe during the war, and they brought her back to live with them, and they took care of her and her family. So there's a challenge that I want to give you to do this week, okay? So we don't usually we're not supposed to keep secrets from our parents or our families, right? We can have surprises, but we don't want to keep secrets. But I will tell you something that you can do in secret, okay? So there's a scripture in the Bible that tells us not to let our right hand know what our left hand is doing. And what do you think that means? I'll tell you. That means that when you do something good for other people, that you don't go around and talk about it or brag about it or say, hey, I just did this for my mom and I did a really good job and I was really great at it. You don't want to brag about it, all right? Because it humbles us. It makes us humbled before God, which means that we don't have confidence in ourselves. We have confidence in God. So what I want you to practice this week is find some things that you can do that nobody knows about that is a good, helpful thing to do. So you might unload the dishwasher for your mom or dad, or sweep the floor, or you might pick up your room without being told. Now, your parents are probably going to know that you did it, or they might ask you, and if they ask you, you have to tell them it was you. But what I want you to do is to try to do it in secret, and then the Lord will reward you later for it. Just like he did Rahab. When she kept her secret, what happened? He kept her whole family safe for more. And also, she got to be one of Jesus's ancestors, which is really cool. So this week, work on doing good things, but don't make a big deal about it, okay? So be a little bit sneaky, but if somebody asks you, you have to tell the truth. But practice doing good things just for Jesus and not for other people to see. Have a great week, guys.